Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Carla from Rayhan Alawalla's World of Connections. And more importantly, I am coming from the Ministry for English Literacy page because I am the Minister for English Literacy for the Insan Party, which means humanity in Pakistan. And we are talking about the importance of English for the global world, but not replacing it for your own language, your own native language. In Pakistan, it's Urdu. In France, it's French. We want you still speaking your native language, but we want you to add English so we all can understand you. And English is the global language at the moment. Having said that, let me remind you that I am talking to the wonderful Usman Gulzari from Islamabad, Pakistan, and he's going to tell me his views on English and why it's so very important in the world today. And just a reminder, everyone, I am echoing. Just a reminder, everyone, this show is sponsored by the Institute of Peace, which is an online organization creating peace one conversation at a time. Having said that, Usman, will you please introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, Carla, for having me. I've been really looking forward to this program because I can see that you do a lot of work. Because of you, you have introduced so many wonderful speakers who share their wisdom. So you are doing a fantastic job. I think everyone who is watching you, I would request them to put their hands together for you. So, it's an honor to be on your show. About myself, I've been a student in the field of learning and development. I'm a corporate trainer in Pakistan. I have worked with over 100 organizations and like with more than 30,000 professionals. I have, conducted training programs. My areas of, I would say that my forte or some areas that I would love to explore are communication, public speaking, and selling. So these are the three my favorite areas. It's all related to communication. So about my education, I have done my MS from in Pakistan's one of the universities, named Zabish University, where I have done like masters in marketing, where I learned that even things are brilliant, things are wonderful. If we do not project them in a manner we want others to see, it would not make any difference. Apart from it, I love reading books. So this is a little introduction about myself.
Why? Okay, let's talk a little about Pakistan and why English is really an important language in the world today.
Well, I would like to talk about first English, about the importance of English language. See, I would have missed out this conversation if I was not familiar with English language, right? And I know a lot of wonderful speakers because from my field, I learn a lot from a lot of people, from their books, from their wisdom, from YouTube videos, or from a lot of other sources. And I would have missing out a large chunk of the knowledge that I have acquired if I could not read or understand English. And I believe that if through you, and I mean you are not from Pakistan, and like I can talk to you and I can spread my message to outside Pakistan, to those people who are not familiar with my language, with Urdu language. So I think this is the importance of it in order to make connection, because if we don't speak, would we get what we want in our life if we remain silent? This is my question to everyone. Would we get what we want in our life if we remain silent? And if our people whom we want to spread our message, they are not in your native language, so I think we should learn about this language. So these are my general views about English language.
Now, what is it about English is now, at this point in time, the global language around the world. Um, do you find that many people in Pakistan are beginning to speak in English and understand English?
Okay, Carla, in Pakistan, yes, there's majority of people who who go to school about talking about major cities, Islamabad, Karachi, Lahore. So they're familiar with English language in most of their schools because they study, and professional because official language of Pakistan is English language. And also the device that I'm having with you, either people would be watching me from like even people who are looking at me from Pakistan, they are either watching me from the device like this one, or maybe it's from the laptop. The keyboards is in also in English, right? So we don't have much choices. It does not come in, majority of people do not have it in Urdu. So people do understand English language. But now here is one thing that I would really like to emphasize, and because here English language is considered to be a symbol of authority, right? So majority, because I believe, and I would like to ask you this question, I believe the purpose of language is to express your message. It's not to impress. But here, people speak English in order to impress others. And we consider that person is very educated who speaks English. And I'm talking about the mentality of a lot of people. And this is something I don't like. I don't want people to speak English because of this. But I want people to learn English to communicate their message, to express their point of view. So in Pakistan, people are beginning to like learning English. But I want when we are talking about importance of English language, that we ask people to learn it. But I think this is very important when we are communicating to Pakistani people, that we should tell them it's not to impress people; it is for the expression.
You say impress people. Now, you're talking to an English speaker, and of course, I don't find it impressive. Do you find that people in Pakistan are impressed by people who speak English, or why do you use that word?
Yes. See, I remember, say, I came from government schools. In my government school, you know, English was taught, but we did not used to speak English. But when we see a boy or girl that he or she speaks fluently, everyone wow, that guy can speak English, and especially a person has a wonderful accent. So they will put them into onto the pedestal, like, oh god damn it, whatever, save your vernaculars to yourself. So that big words that majority people would not understand, but say it in a manner that people say wow, people would not understand. And I want to say you that the question that you asked particularly, because since I am been into this profession of public speaking, so I remember I want to share with you this incidents, that I was asked to conduct a training program for teachers. To it was not a city but a small town. So I went there, and the management guys, they asked me that Sahab is Mister, right? Mr. Usman, you have to conduct whole session, 3 hour session in English language. And I was like, okay, but it does not seem that the teachers can understand English very effectively. So I feel that I will be able to connect more when I'm speaking Urdu. They said that's why we are saying, even they don't understand. They would see that we brought a trainer who can speak English. So this could tell you that we get a lot of people get impressed, and I'm really concerned about this thing. Majority of youngsters, when they call, when they talk, they change their accent, which is not their actual one. Try to speak like we they spell Mr. word, for example, pizza we call it, yeah, in Pakistan. So but in Urdu, like Pakistan, we simple say. But when you too much emphasize like this, that how you people say this, so sometimes it feels that people are they are not genuine. So I'm very much in my training programs. I ask people to speak Urdu, speak in English, right? Speak in English if you want to communicate something, if you want to express something, but it should come it natural. But don't speak English because to impress people.
Do you think that most people speak in English to be impressive to their friends and family? Or is it beginning to be accepted?
I'll say it again. I would like to comprehend this question first, and then
Okay. You were talking about you don't want people impressing you by speaking in English at one of your programs. Do you feel that most people, when they are speaking in English, they do it to impress others? Or do they do it because they just want to improve their English?
Carl, it's a very good point. And as a speaker, as a facilitator, I feel that we should not judge people, right? I should not think, make a, like, I know that this person wants to impress person, or he is genuinely saying it. But how do I know it? How do I come to this conclusion that a lot of people want to speak English to impress people? For example, in my platforms, when I conduct training programs, or people, I coach people on presentation skills, how to present in front of people. So I say, when you are learning, when you are with me, you can do a lot of mistakes. You can experiment it. But when you are on a stage in front of your bosses, that is a time that you have to be very credible. Now, why do I feel that a lot of people speak in English? Because to impress people. I remember, I can recall an example who came last time in my session, and he started speaking English by twisting his tongue. I hope you understand. And twisting his tongue, like, oh, wow, I, how are you guys? And you know, so that is something that I felt that it's not natural. Secondly, when I feel that people want to impress people, when they just begin speaking in English, while other people can understand Urdu, and they just, they like right now, sometimes, we look for words because our native language is in Urdu. So they, we can get it that they are trying to find some words and they are not speaking correctly, full of mistakes. And but they push themselves to speak English while the other person is talking to him in Urdu language. So sometimes I feel that the person who is asking you the question, you should respond in the same language, unless they are people who cannot understand you. And so this is what my beliefs are. Maybe I'm wrong, but sometimes it feels that, right now, for example, I contacted a person, youngster, and I asked him in my Urdu language, hello, how are you, and I want to get things done, so what would you say about this particular thing? So I sent him a message in a voice note, in WhatsApp voice note, in Urdu language. And then he responded me in English language, where I could see that two three words you know were made up, were decorated with wonderful accent, and it seemed not to be natural to me. So maybe I judged, or maybe I wrong, but it does not feel right sometimes. And so many times, for example, you interview Kamran Rizvi. Kamran Rizvi, he's my mentor. He's my mentor. Now he
Yeah.
speaks so well, and you just want to listen to him again and again. And you don't get the feeling that he is speaking for impression. And a lot of other speakers, when they are talking, even I, if you just I'm going live on my pages, and I often speak a few sentences in English. Sometimes I switch between. So, but but it's not too. What I said, that it should not be like we are trying to impress that person.
And I agree with you. It shouldn't be for impression, it should be done for communication. And that is what language is about. If you're talking to your mom who is in in Pakistan and she only speaks Urdu, what is the point of speaking English then? You need to be speaking the language she understands. And I think maybe I would like to know a little more about your feelings about communication. Because in communication, you choose your language. So, can you speak about that a little, please?
I think communication is my subject. I love talking about communication. Can we think any part of our job where communication is not involved? As Anthony Robbins says, your quality of life depends upon the quality of communication. And I think he's so right. Our quality of life depends upon the quality of communication. And unless we speak up, we understand, we would not be able to make any difference in others' life. And everything is communication. It's not just about me and you are talking and listening. It's about if I'm not having happy in my life. So what is that? It is a feedback from the nature that do something better, right? So everything is communication. When we go to a doctor is communicating something that we don't understand about our body. I take it that I don't know, I'm feeling something. I cannot understand what it says, but the doctor understands it. Doctor listens to it. And so I think everything is communication. So we must be very good at it. So at the core of communication, I believe it's understanding other people, is listening and making a connection with others. And here the language counts because medium. Sometimes you don't have to speak a word and you communicate a lot. And sometimes you speak a lot and you don't make a point. As Mark Twain, I'm sure that you must know, like
Yeah.
Mark Twain said, I'm sorry that I'm writing I'm a lengthy letter, long letter, because I do not have time to write a short letter. So we communicate a lot when we don't know what to say. So
And
it's such a
that's such a very important point. I have people who come to my show and they go on and on and on, and I'll sometimes stop them and I'll say, okay, what did I ask you? You asked me my name. Right. Answer that question. What is your name? How old are you? Or what do you do? Tell me more about your business and what you do. And people just talk and talk and talk, but they're not listening. How do you feel about that? Is listening as important as talking?
I think more important than talking. See, I'm from my world is public speaking. So in my sessions, everyone comes on stage, especially during the end of the session. So there are 20 people. So everyone comes on stage and they speak for 2-3 minutes, and then the rest of the audience are sitting. But one thing that I noticed over the period of years, that the person who comes for speaking, when he goes back, he's not interested in what others have to speak, what others have to say. Sometimes he or she just leaves the room. They just start looking at their mobile phone. And I noticed that majority of it, like for most of the people, it's the same, that people just want to talk, they want to make a point, but they don't want to listen to others. And what I've seen that people admire most, who just listen to those speeches, like, you, wow, what did you say? A person is nodding, about active listening, making a point. Wow. You make a connection there. Think about your best friends. Who are our best friends? Those who listen to us, where we can just speak our heart out and we know that they are not going to judge us. And we don't want to be around those people who just talk, 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 and then they don't listen. So I think over the period of years, I have understood, I have grown with God's blessings, my work, my the work that I do, and I get a lot of business, and I feel that I am not special. I'm not doing something very special thing. But now I just listen more to people. Before I went to the organization, I started speaking, like I say, starting throwing up on the other person who you are. Now, just look at you, Carla. I mean, you are a perfect example. You have so much wisdom. I mean, I'm sure, uh, with so many interviews that you have taken, and I was talking to you off this screen, back end. You have so much to speak, but I don't see you interrupting. You just speak. You just say one sentence, and the other person, like me, speaking for a longer period of time, and the other person is very happy, and you just you make other people happy just by saying one sentence, and then the other person starts speaking. So I think the work that you are doing is tremendous. But I'm telling you that, Carla, not a lot of people have this kind of a passion that you have. You know. So
Recently I have been working with a young man, 14-year-old boy, who speaks beautiful, beautiful, beautiful English. I mean, nothing that I would have expected from a 14-year-old boy. But he's Pakistani. He's from your country. And he's going live and he's writing, and everything is in English. And I said to him, "You're amazing. I love what you write. But you want to be a politician. You want to help your country. What language does your country speak?" And he said, "Urdu is the official language, and then we have all these dialects." And I said to him, "Don't you think if you want to lead your country, you need to be speaking in your language?" And he said, "Yeah." And it took a few conversations with him for him to get it and decide, "Oh, I'll do something in Urdu." I'm not negating English right now, but I would like you to speak to this point because I think it's important. I don't want people to think that I want everyone speaking in English and no longer speak your native tongue. Over to you.
Carla, I have a question, and it's a very important question. I would like to give reference to my group as well. I'm also running my group called Public Speaking with Usman Gulzari. So where people just come on, turn on the camera and share the videos. So one thing that I want to ask you, as a foreigner, as a person who is living in USA, if a person, a Pakistani person, a Pakistani guy or girl, he or she is learning English, he or she is not fluent in English, and they are learning, and while they are speaking, they're making a lot of mistakes while talking to you. How would you say them? Because we feel that we are being judged. I just said it before, like in front of your bosses or the management, you should avoid it. If you know that you are not very fluent, you should speak in your native language. But how would you see as a US nationality person that if a person is making mistakes, how would you see that person?
I will answer that differently than what you would expect. The first thing I want to say is everything is right about you. And the reason I say everything is right about you is because anything you decide to do when you're learning, you're going to make mistakes. I make mistakes as an adult every day. Everyone makes mistakes. If you're speaking to someone in Urdu in your own country and you want to practice speaking English, go ahead and do it. Make those mistakes. Because when you make those mistakes, you are learning. You correct each other. And maybe not every mistake will be corrected, but you do it anyway. You do what you can do. Now, if you're talking to someone who doesn't speak English, speak in Urdu. What's the big deal? But remember, you only learn by making mistakes. And you can only do what you can do. And if you're doing your best and giving it your 100%, there is nothing wrong about it at all. Your
Wow.
reaction.
Wow. I love this. I love this. And what I observed, because I worked in different organizations, and there one of the bosses who could not understand Urdu. So I had to practice, in English language. But whenever I did not feel intimidated, I did not feel scared talking to English with him. But what I felt, that I became nervous, and I believe that I am speaking to a heart of a lot of Pakistani people, and I'm sure about it. Like that, when they are talking to a foreigner, they are relaxed, they are okay, and they are speaking, in a very good manner. But when our own Pakistani or Indian, or they come in front of them, it would be difficult for them to speak in English. Why? Because I feel it is because of judgment. That yeah, or we feel that we are being judged by how we are speaking this language. And if I'm making mistake, so my status would go like this. And there are so many memes. You understand memes in social media world, I believe. So
Oh,
many
yeah.
memes about Pakistan, in the world of, like, in our, about Katrina, politics, especially in sports people, because our sportsmen, they are, one of the world champion sports people. Very, they have made their name, but they are not very good at speaking English. So we find the memes of them, that what did he say, and people making fun of them because they cannot speak English very well, but they can play their game. So that's the problem. People make fun of others, and I feel that it should not happen, and other people would not do that. I am just, feeling to say one sentence. I was reading a book, and I love this idea that if a young guy, he says that I want to become the vice president of this company, so his friend circle would laugh at him. But if that guy say the same thing to the vice president of that company, so vice president could say a lot of things, but he would definitely not laugh at it, because big people don't laugh at big ideas.
And that's true. And when we laugh at someone, have you thought that it comes because you're kind of jealous? You want to do it, but you're afraid to do it. So instead of laughing, join the party, be a part of it. What do you think of that?
I like it. I like this. Instead of laughing, join the party. Very beautifully said.
Because by joining the party, you begin to enjoy life. Who really cares about your mistake? They're not going to go around and think, oh, Usman said this horrible mistake. He called Carla a man. You think they're going to think about it for more than the moment that it happened? They don't care. Who cares the most? You.
Very rightly said, because I can relate to this. That in public speaking, when I record people's videos, and then I show it to them after the session. after their first video, introductory video. So when participants come and they share their introduction, I ask this question: that how many of you felt, raise your hand, that your voice was trembling or your legs were shaking? And I see majority of hands go up. They say that I felt that my legs were shaking. But when we show the video, and when we listen to them again, and I ask other people, now you tell me, did you feel that this his voice was trembling? And Carla, would you believe that majority people would say, all the time they would say, no, we did not notice. It was so clear. But the person who is doing this, he or she is getting so hard on himself. So it happens. Like we are so much conscious about definitely our own self. When we have a photo frame, whom we look at, where we have group photo, and we just show, we just look at it. We see ourselves first. So I think we are more critical about ourselves as well.
We are our worst. And because we are our worst critic, we have trouble getting out of our comfort zone. And
Wow.
to me, speaking in English is out of for you guys, it's out of the comfort zone. If someone said, Carla, speak some Urdu, well, I've learned how to say hello and how are you. But because I don't use it, I forget it. So I'm like, oh, you want me to do that now? I have no idea. But wouldn't it be good if I had that nerve to say, Salam alaikum, Aap kaisi ho, or Aap kaisi ha? But I don't always have that strength or that desire to do it. But I think I said it correctly. You tell me now.
Yes, you said it so beautifully. I remember when I was kid. So there was a movie, I believe, Jungle Book. So there was a person who used to say this, who said that sentence, "Aap kaise hain," in Urdu language, and I was so happy. I asked him, I repeated that thing. I reversed, went to the reverse, and then watched him again. And I watched that scene about 10 times. I was so happy that the foreigner is using our language. So you said it so beautifully. I liked it. Can you say it again?
Salam alaikum, except there's another way of saying that, and Aap kaisi ho.
Yes. Very good. Very good. We say Assalamu alaikum and aap kaise hain? Very good.
And would I answer in Walaikum Salam?
मैं ठीक हूँ. वालेकुम अस्सलाम. मैं ठीक हूँ.
What did those last few words mean?
मैं ठीक हूँ. Yes. I am all right. I am doing well. So ठीक means all right. I am मैं हूँ.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
But do you see what I'm talking about? I want people to stay and speak their language. But as much as they are speaking their language, I want them to learn to speak English so they can speak to people in different parts of the world. I've learned so much from beginning with Rayhan. I knew nothing about Pakistan. In fact, a very funny story is that when I first found out he was from Pakistan, and I'm not good at researching people on the internet, I spoke to a friend of mine and I said, can you look him up and see if he's who he says he is, or am I talking to a tourist? And I found out later I was my intuitive feeling was talk to him. And my friend checked him out and said, Carla, this guy isn't a terrorist. Just continue talking to him. Over 4 years now, I'm still speaking with him. And I'm learning about Islam and I'm learning about the Muslim community and Pakistan. But it would have never happened if you guys didn't speak English.
Very right. Very rightly said. And I believe that Rehan Allah Wala is doing a great job. He's connecting people and he is also, putting people, making people realize that this is a very important thing to do. So I do agree. I told you that I have my reservations because of what reason, that when it comes to impression, I just say that people don't speak it. But when it comes to expression and also connecting people, spreading your message, so I think it's very important that we all should learn it and then, make your message across. And also learn from those brilliant mind who exist and, a lot of knowledge, wisdom is there, and we cannot access it if we don't come out of our comfort zone, we come out of our we learn in this language.
And that goes for everyone, not just you, but everyone in the world. We learn about each other. In Sweden, they don't have as long of a summer as I do here in the United States. They're bundled up most of the year because they're used to cold weather. Would I know that if I didn't know people in Sweden? Would I know that in Africa what's going on if I hadn't spoken to someone from Africa or from Pakistan? We need to communicate together to understand the world and make it a more peaceful world. What do you think?
Very rightly said. And I just not because only to connect with people, those people who are in US or some other whose native language is English. I can relate to it that I'm going to have a session with someone in Sweden and Norway, so Norwegian people, and they have a separate language. We have separate language. How to connect? No, they cannot learn English, Urdu, or we learn Norwegian. So English gives us the middle path. So we are going to have a conversation in English language, and we both would understand. This is the beauty of it. So I think that the benefit of English language cannot be denied because it's not only benefit you but also other people who cannot, who speak their native language, and then we can communicate in this language. That's a wonderful. Yes.
So it's very important for us to learn to communicate and get to know each other. I mean, I thought all Muslims were terrorists. Little did I know what I was getting into 4 years ago when I began speaking with Rayhan. You are not all terrorists. Why can't we be friendly and get to know each other? And that's what my job for English literacy is about. Any comment?
I think I like this, and this is a great perspective that I just learned it from you. That Rehan said he changed your paradigm, and I don't agree. This is something unbelievable for me that people literally felt that everyone living in Pakistan are terrorists, and but this is kind of a perception that we have, and through language, through understanding, through speaking, these paradigms can be changed. So I think this is a very important thing. Yes,
Especially after 9/11.
you're right.
It was Muslims. Well, what was I getting involved with in talking to Rayhan? A terrorist movement? Obviously not. but it did cross my mind because it became very real to me all of a sudden.
Right.
And this whole idea of talking to each other changes that immediately.
And I think we should also come out of this realization of generalizing. And generalizing is everywhere. I mean, it's not about the countries across. Now, this is a huge thing. But, like, for example, if I'm working in an organization, I'm an employee. So people would generalize these employers all are. You know, you cannot just put employer word and put everyone in that box. Right? For example, like us, it's like we cannot say that all US people or all, we call it Goras, we call it Gora and Gori. You understand? Because of this color of their skin. So white people are called Gora. So generally we call that all Goras are like this. Sometimes we say this. And the same manner, I think this what people did in US, that they just generalize this Muslim. We can also generalize this. I mean, if we were meeting some animals, they would all generalize that all human beings are like this. So at the end, we all are humans, right? So everyone is different. I'm sure that in your circle, who are speaking your language, there might be some cruel people. There are also bad people exist in your world as well, and same here as well. It's not about just that this nationality or these people do that. It's about certain people, and they exist in everywhere. Please unmute yourself, Carla.
I told you you may need to remind me every once in a while. And as we begin to know that, we change our whole perspective in the world. It's so it's so very important. I think as a kid I had always wanted to meet people from around the world and talk to them. And now I'm doing it. You are muted.
Yes, I would just say like wow, like you know, it has made possible, and it is also because of the language, also because of the technology. So
Right.
I'm sure. Yes.
And what we will be talking about more on Sunday, it's not just the language, but we will be talking about communication and what technology has done for that communication.
Yes, because without technology and without these advancement and understanding these tools, uh, you know, because in communication we talk about medium and the message. So message can be in English language, Urdu language, but if we don't address medium, so the communication would be incomplete.
Right. And what I would like to do is thank you for speaking with me tonight, and thank you, viewers, for watching. And do you have any last words of wisdom before I close the show?
Well, it is such an honor to be with you, and I know I had a heart-to-heart conversation, uh, and I also learned about your perspective. It's such a I would say feeling light and feeling good talking to you, that you understand my perspective. So I believe that my word of wisdom, no, but my suggestion to everyone of you that see communicate. Communication is called the king skill. Take it seriously. And when you are talking about communication, it's very important do you learn the right words and right medium. So this is something that I would say that if you really want to, I would like to quote that Anthony Robbins: "Your quality of life depends upon the quality of communication." And one thing that I emphasize so much, especially for Pakistani people and for those people who are not English, uh, speak in English, learn this language, but beware that you are not speaking for impression, making an impression on others, but for an expression. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Usman, for talking to me and giving me your knowledge today. I want to thank all of our listeners and watchers for coming and watching. And I will be back. And watch our conference on the Ministry of on the Insan Party conference page on Sunday and Monday at 8 p.m. Pakistan time and 11 p.m. New York time. And we will see you then. This show, like all of my shows, is sponsored by the Institute of Peace. And we are going to go off air now and see you later. Can you wave goodbye with me, Usman? Thank you so very, very much. And